So we're at the Pogo Cafe in Hackney. I'm here talking to Rue, who's from OrganicLea, Chingford in East London. Rue last year went to the Zapatista communities in southeast Mexico, talk about the way they live, how they live in resistance, and very importantly for tonight, how they manage their land and grow their food. Rue, could you tell us a little bit about your experiences?
Yeah, I suppose there are a number of things that inspired and resonated with me as a community food project in working in London. One really is about diversity there, so diversity of species. So, for example, in the UK we think that chilies are small and red and hot. In Mexico they have a much deeper and richer understanding of the chili plant, and they have big ones, small ones, mild ones, hot ones, red ones, purple ones, and some of the traditional mole sauces can have up to 5 different chilies, each imparting a certain quality of flavour. So it's kind of interesting in terms of diversity, how not only is that good for ecologically, and we know that, but also in terms of food culture, it's a vital element as well. I think also one thing back to visiting Zapatista communities in Chiapas is going to the highlands to visit them where they live, and going to some very rocky, steep country and seeing cultivation of maize, corn, the staple crop, on those areas was astonishing. But it also resonated slightly with being in high density London and seeing how land-hungry people in London will use the tiniest bit of ground or even find ways of growing food, growing plants in very difficult conditions, and really thinking about how that's where the solutions are to our bio and social crisis, are from the edges, from the margins, where people are making the most of very little, and really looking at urban environments and also the global south.
And in fact, I mean, people don't necessarily know who the Zapatistas are. I mean, they're fighting for their land, aren't they? They're facing government attacks, they're facing paramilitary attacks, they're really fighting and having to sort of defend where they grow their food.
That's right, yeah. I mean, they're kind of the heirs to the Mexican Revolution tradition, which was about land and liberty, which won some gains, but more recently neoliberal agreements have pushed that back again. And indigenous people in the highlands, who are essentially small-scale farmers and textile workers, and that's their way of life and that's their tradition, and they're suffering increasing attacks, but they've managed to actually claim their land and control it in a fairly bloodless revolution. And now they're trying to build a new society and to reach out to the rest of the world to show other worlds are possible.
So you went to see them, and you're now back in London. What lessons did you bring back from apparently such a different culture and such a different place back here to London?
I think two things really. One is about growing and resistance, and obviously, as I said, these are small farmers that they live on the land, they work for the land, yet they still manage to organise themselves to defend themselves against government attacks. And the way they do that is inspiring for us, and I think we need to build the new society in the shell of the old. We need to be growing gardens, growing food, showing what positive alternatives are at the same time as resisting attacks from capitalism increasingly. And so that's inspiring to see how they manage to get that balance right, and I think everyone can learn from that. I think also, when the meeting with them, one of the last things they said to us was, carry on, do what you're doing, because we would explain what we were doing in London, working in community food projects, trying to create alternative food systems, and they really saw that as being part of their struggle as well. And I think that just a sense of connecting with them, the international struggle, and seeing what you're doing locally as being relevant internationally is critical as well.
So there we are. We've got Rue. He's with two organisations here in London. One's called OrganicLea, and the other one is called, and I've written it down here, the Community Growers Network. Community Food Growers Network. You can look both of those up on the internet. The Community Food Growers Network is www.cfgn.org. You can look up there if you want to get involved in community food growing here in London. That's the place to go. So this is Patrick Chalmers speaking with Vision on TV.